Hey gang, so I'm hoping that this microphone is actually working because I seem to have lost my headphones somewhere. As you know, I tend to lose them quite a lot. They do seem to disappear on a regular basis and sometimes turn up in the garden amongst the flower beds. So I hope, like I say, that this recording is okay because I'm actually I wouldn't say terrified, I'd just say really anxious about doing this Facebook Live. And I've been procrastinating about it for quite some time. As quite a few of you know, I have been very quiet for quite a few months now, and there has been a reason for that. And I know a lot of the tech guys that are on here in digital marketing are going to be saying to me, Rachel, why are you doing a Facebook Live on a Saturday night in the UK? I think it's about 8 p.m. here. It's probably just the worst time that you could be doing a Facebook Live because everybody is busy. But I know that I need to do this now and that we need to move forward because I want us to crack on with things starting from Wednesday as usual next week. So I wanted to do this now because I don't want to wait any longer. And I also don't want to allow my mind monkey to build it up into something bigger than actually in some ways it is. Also, this isn't a usual blog post that I write. It isn't a usual conversation. In fact, it's a conversation that I've not really had with many people in my life at all. And I suppose it's probably a bit crazy having this conversation for the first time in public, but this is something that has inspired the whole coaching practice that I have. It's inspired everything that I'm doing in my life right now. And from the journey that I've had over the last few months, I want to share this with you guys because there's so much that I gained from this that I know I can use to help other people. And also I feel that you guys deserve the truth as well as to what has happened in my life and also what has been going on recently, as well as things that have happened in the past. So this isn't a usual Facebook Live. And I know normally when I'm doing a Facebook Live, I just talk to you guys. So we have a theme or a topic or a tip or a tool that we talk around, and I actually go through that with you guys so that you get to understand the inspiration behind it and the reasons why I've developed that tool or that insight that's happened. This is actually going to be different because this is something that is so I wouldn't say difficult for me to discuss, but because it's something that is probably quite emotional, I'm going to ask for once if you will bear with me while I actually read to you the latest blog post that I've written. And I think I've been procrastinating for quite some time about what to start with. One, because there's so much stuff that I want to share with you guys, but also because, well, I think that I needed to start with the truth. But it's taken a lot for me to sit down and actually not only write this to share with you, but actually to put this into the words for the first time in my life myself as well. So I hope you will forgive me for actually reading this to you, but I hope that once we get into it, you will actually understand why. So if I look a little bit strange, slightly less animated than normal, it's because I am reading. So the title of the blog post is Sometimes You Just Need to Flip It to Whatever is Holding You Back in Life. And this, I like the word flip it. There's actually a book that's written on this, but this is based upon a technique that I actually developed when I was in hospital straight after my accident. And we're going to discuss some of these things in more detail in the future. But actually the whole experience that I've had recently has evolved around being able to use this technique myself. And the fact that it's helped me get through two pretty big physical, emotional and mental traumas, I guess, in my life is just testament to actually how this tool works. Because I know that if we can flip it in times like that, then actually it's something we can use for every day. So I'm going to go through this blog post and yeah, let's see where we get to. So, sometimes you just need to flip it to whatever is holding you back in life. And no, I'm not talking about the bird, though sometimes that also can be useful. I'm talking about ensuring that you have a balanced view of your career and also your life, because our mind monkeys will probably be engaged in their default setting, which is usually around worry and fear. And I know that those guys are on It.Lifers, so we don't view the world through these rose-tinted spectacles or believe that life is full of unicorns that are farting rainbows. And heck, the closest that I ever get is probably when our family dog has eaten too many greens. And trust me, if rainbows smelt like that, you'd probably run for cover every time it started to rain. But despite us guys being realists, we do actually still need to compensate for the fact that stories that our mind monkeys are creating will often be in the negative. Because of that, because of the stories that they tell us, they prevent us from being able to move forward with our career goals. And this is how we find balance, is by being able to actually flip the negative stories that our mind monkey is telling us, not so that we're living in this completely, like I say, rose-tinted spectacle world of non-reality, but just so you can find some balance. So you're not just hearing the negative, all the dangers that could go on, but actually all the silver linings and the positives in that. And on Wednesday, I'm going to go into this further with you guys as well. So the past few months for me have been a really big reminder of why this approach to life is so important. And my blog, my social media and website have been quiet for a really good reason. And I say good, though people might think experiencing severe depression isn't a good experience at all. And that, my friends, is the whole point of this post. I had so many things that I wanted to write, ideas that came to me while on this incredibly profound personal journey. And profound, it isn't a word that entered my everyday dictionary until the last 12 months, but profound it truly has been. It's this newfound profoundness that, and I don't even know if that's a word, but I want to share with the world, and especially with the person who is sat either listening to this Facebook live or is reading this blog post in front of me, and that means you. If the profound lessons crafted from my life story will help just one person to become unstuck, to start living rather than waiting, and to find true happiness and peace in their career and life, then I believe that any pain has been worth it. Why else would God, the universe, source, fate, whatever name you use, have any of us going through difficult, challenging and painful experiences other than to help us grow? To become a better person, more than we ever realize we can be, and to share that new gained knowledge and experience to help others. So about this time 16 years ago was the night I should have died. In fact, that night Rachel Powell did die. And since then, I have never let myself grieve for her passing, for the life she or I could, should and would have had. I focused instead on fighting to build a new life. I fought to learn to walk again despite all odds. I fought to get a university degree despite being in constant pain and needing further surgery. And I have to be honest, I was just talking about this actually with one of my tutors who first accepted me onto the course. And I have to be honest, I was off my head on pain medication quite a lot of the time. How on earth I even got dressed in the morning and had my clothes on the right way around, I will never know, because now that I'm not on pain medication like that and using alternative health and therapies, I realise actually just how kind of out of it I really was all the time. So I fought to craft a career for myself, despite my body struggling to keep up with my mind. And I fought to not be a victim, because wallowing in pity didn't serve anyone, especially myself. But I was wrong. I was wrong to fight. I was wrong to believe that to beat physical, emotional, and mental pain, we have to fight through it. I was wrong to build a successful career. We have to fight our way to the top. And I realised while writing this blog post, even our own language encourages us to believe this falsehood. We have phrases like, fight your way to the top, fight for what you believe in, fight for the truth. In fact, those of us in the UK even had to listen to Cheryl Cole telling us we had to fight, fight, fight for this love, when really we discovered she should have kicked her cheating husband to the curb much earlier. And by the way, I have put this in the blog post as well. I happen to love Cheryl Cole because she's a fellow Northeast lass, and I respect the work that she does. So the truth is, fighting through life, I became the one thing I've been working so hard to avoid, and that was a victim. I've discovered that by fighting, well, fighting means we fight to hold on to things. We fight to hold on to people, experiences, and objects that are not serving us in life. By holding on, we aren't able to let go and to learn. Fighting doesn't allow us to experience our true reality, but flow will. Flow means, and this is something I've been through over the last year, flow means we experience our pain in all its gut-wrenching, spasm-inducing, tear-jerking glory. And by accepting and releasing into it, we're finally able to let go. So this is what I think of. And this is what I've really uncovered over the last few months. And the pain that I have been experiencing is not just being physical. I've been booked into the chronic pain clinic. I've been working through all that. It wasn't just mental. It was also emotional as well, with dealing with, apparently I have post-traumatic stress from my accident that has never been dealt with. And I found it really interesting that all these different types of pain, I actually was able to work through them instead of fighting and hold on to them by being able to accept, release, and let go. It's what I call as flow. And it's something that I experienced through yoga with my physical pain, that once I kept thinking about it not as being a stretching into pain, but actually about really just relaxing into it and experiencing it and feeling it and then just releasing, because it's okay to be in pain. It's okay to feel emotional, physical, and mental pain. That's what it means to be human. By the way, I'm just ad-libbing here and going off script. So I will get back to this post, because here is my truth. Here is me in flow. Here is me accepting what happened to me, releasing it into the world, and because of that, I'm letting go. Because only then can I truly use every single lesson He has gifted me to help others, including you, if He will do the honor to allow me. So here's my truth. 16 years ago, a stranger spiked my drink while on holiday with my little sister. I can't remember anything about being in a bar apart from one single image. And that image is this blurred, abstract, psychedelic picture, like a photograph of coloured beams of light and a dark, tall shadow of a person, a man, stood right in front of me. And I'm presuming I was on the dance floor. I don't know who it was. I can't see his face. And it's not like a memory from a film where I can rewind it to try and look for clues. It's just me, this shadow, and some lights. And really, I can't remember anything before, and certainly really nothing after the run up to my accident. And I've always called it an accident, but technically, if you do something to yourself, even when you're not yourself, does that still count as an accident? Because I sure as heck, I know I wasn't trying to commit suicide, which is what some people believed. Committing suicide means that you're wanting to die, and I didn't want to die. Instead, I believed that I could abseil from the 5th floor of a balcony from the hotel, very much like Spider-Man, and I didn't check what was even below me, because Spider-Man doesn't need to check on things like that, right? I just climbed off. And hanging from that balcony, my feet dangling, I realised there was actually nowhere for me to go. I wasn't a superhero. I was simply this 20-year-old girl who hadn't got a clue what was happening to her. And there was no way up. And there was no way back. So the only thing I could do was to let go. What were you thinking when you were falling? I'll never forget a visitor or a patient asking me that question. And I even remember thinking at the time, he might as well have asked my friend who was in the hospital bed next to me, and she was paralyzed from the neck down. So both of us were in the spinal unit together. I just thought, what a weird question to ask me. He might as well have been asking my friend what she was thinking when she flew through the car windscreen. But people are curious. We're curious about the unknown, about things we can't quite wrap our minds around. So our mind monkeys ask these unintentional, really insensitive questions because they want to store the response for future reference. And if I hadn't been so busy fighting, I would have told him falling wasn't the problem. Landing was. Well, physically at least. And mentally, well, the feelings I experienced when I had to let go of that balcony and accepting it might be the last thing that I ever did in my life. I have to say, what do people think in those moments? We actually think nothing. Our minds are blank. In fact, our mind monkeys have finally shut the hell up because in that moment, it's like we have this complete acceptance of the fragility of our lives. And only that life was named in memory of this experience. It was named for my acceptance that I own every single event that has happened in my life. Because ownership is powerful. Ownership means we accept the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I aren't talking about the film with Clint Eastwood in. It means that we're the captain of our own ship. If we can lead ourselves into stormy waters, then we are equally capable of leading ourselves back out again. Finally taking ownership and embracing flow triggered this overwhelming grief and sorrow that I'd buried deep, and I didn't realize. Well, that's a lie. I think I always knew that this grief was there, and I'd never given myself that chance to grieve over the life that I had lost. And by actually being able to experience flow, by actually accepting that that grief and pain was there, and actually allowing myself to feel it and being okay with that, and not feeling ashamed of feeling that pain, and for needing to almost step out of life for a while to let me go through that experience. This is what it means to be in flow. And the last few months, while being unable to dress myself, get out of bed, or even being able to answer the phone to my own family when I knew they were ringing to check on me, that actually was an incredible gift. Because when I flip it, I became aware that life had given me some amazing new insights, whilst also reminding me just how much it had already shown me. And this is what I want to do over the next few months. Because over the next few months, I'm going to be gifting those insights to you. And I'm going to show you how to flip it, how to find your flow, and how to ditch the fake Facebook friends with love and peace so you are able to break free from whatever is holding you back right now. And they're going to remind you that you are a freaking pterodactyl and even Jurassic Park can't hold you. And I'm going to explain why you need to put on and grow. And guess what? We are going to start right now with a gift that I created for you guys. It's called the 5 Steps to Freedom. And it's quite a meaty workshop series. It's taken me a long time to put it together. It's been very slow whilst I've still been recovering. And it's based on the last 10 years of coaching hundreds of incredible people to move forward with their careers and build businesses. But it's also created from the insights and from reflection on the last few months and the experiences that I've been through in overcoming barriers. And the bonus is it is completely free because I want to help as many people as possible. Because the life reminded me why I do what I do and the difference that it makes to so many others and for myself. And some of you guys, I just want to say thank you because you have been there with me and you've stayed true and kind of steadfast while I've needed this time to recover. And these are some of the guys that I'm working with, that I'm coaching. And I just have to say that I thank you so much for that and for believing in me. And I want to be able to ensure that I repay that trust and belief by being here as much as possible for you guys. So please, please dedicate this time to yourself by signing up. This is quite an in-depth workshop series. Each session is lasting about 30 minutes, and we're going through 5 tools that I've used and crafted and created myself, that are inspired by other amazing minds in the world or just from my own experiences, to help you become unstuck. So I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm waiting for you guys to join me. So I hope it's okay. I hope that it is okay to be honest and truthful with you. My mind monkey's been freaking out for a bit, I have to be honest. But I know that is simply because, actually, I don't know why it's freaking out. Maybe it's the thing that it's worried about being judged, or that I'm being too vulnerable. And also I think it could potentially be preempting some of the questions I might never ever be asked, such as, what were you thinking while you were falling? I'm sure none of you guys would ever ask me that. But at least you know the answer now. So I hope that is okay. If you've got any questions at all around anything, I hope that gives you more insight into who I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing, because a lot of even my friends don't realise, some of them don't even know I'm disabled, because I just kind of get on with things. And the ones that do know I'm disabled, there's very few people that actually know really what happened to me. There's very few people that really know how I ended up falling off that balcony. And yeah, it's something that I've never really discussed with a lot of people, and that's something I'm working through now. So I'm also thinking as well, you might need to bear with me on some occasions, because I know some of these feelings that it's throwing up. So sorry, Frankie's making an appearance. I guess that means it's time to actually sign off, because I think somebody's wanting to go to bed. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a really great weekend. And yeah, we're going to get cracking with Flip It on Wednesday. So I will see you then.